Okay, let's go to the learning tree. Start the Order of the Seasons quest by looking that up inside the learning tree. And then we will start to warn the garrisons. Going first to Berglum, I think, since we completed the bridge. I will take the termite tunnel over. We're getting to be pretty tough at this point. Obviously, there's still a lot of monsters that are beyond us. You can build up quite a bit in this game. But most of the early monsters don't pose a threat. I think I need to upgrade my weapon, though. It's probably time to do that. What do I do now? 5 to 15 still. Okay, learning tree, and then to the camp. We have taken on a worm, of course. We probably could take more on. But I'm going to wait till we're a little bit stronger to push that. There's a whole portion of the map where you can find a lot of them. Same thing as before. I think we talked to all those people at this point. Order. There were two orders of magicians, the Order of Seasons, and the other name has been lost in history. They were centering their forces to help people establish peace. After several minutes, you finally find the book you were looking for. Group of magicians who control the elements. They mostly use their magic to protect the continent in humans' wars or any other kind of belligerence. They were grouped in the Plains of Endless Wind. They all disappeared after the ritual of sacrifices, and no one knows what happened to them. Let's look up the Plains. I wonder if we have to do the full name. You can't find anything on this level, perhaps the second level. So apparently you do have to do the full name. Plains of Endless. Biggest plains of the territory where the wind blows strongly without any respite. Of course, plains is spelled wrong the whole way through here, but that's okay. It was also the center of the two ancient orders of magicians who disappeared a long time ago. These plains are situated west of Fantrima on the other side of the Tyros River. I wonder if this level tells us anything more about the orders. No, just the Order of Seasons. So, our quest log has changed. Instead of learning tree telling us to look up order, it now says Order of the Seasons. They once protected the continent. They were grouped in the Plains of Endless Wind. Which, if we look at our kingdom map, is going to be this big area over here, I believe. One thing I don't quite understand, if they're only now building this bridge up to Berglum and the rest of the kingdom, how have they been in communication with them all this time? There must be other passes. Oh well. It works for progressing the game. It keeps you from going too far before you have accomplished the early quests, which is, I guess, what they were doing there. So now time to go to Gwydden Camp. I found that my system was indexing in the background. I have stopped it. We'll see if that helps with some of the occasional slowdowns I experience. Part of the difference is I usually play games in macOS 8 on Sheepshaver. This one seems to run a little smoother on macOS 9 in Sheepshaver. But macOS 9 does indexing, which I don't believe the earlier macOSs did. So I'm hoping that won't be a big problem, but it may be the culprit for occasional lag. So, one screen west is where we killed those great big ook wasps. Ideally, there's no enemies on that screen now. I think that's the case. Because I think it only had those special ook wasps, and once they're gone, it should be clear. Remember, we went up here before and the bridge was incomplete. But now that it's cleared, it should be finished. We should be able to cross over. Okay, we are now on the other side of Tyros River. You are now standing near the Great Tyros River. This is the sign on the west side. Let me pull up the map and get an idea of where we need to go to get to Berglum. So we just crossed the bridge, so basically we just need to follow this trail, and the path leads us up to Berglum and its entrance. It is about the only one that has the termite entrance right next to the city, so it's an easy one to get to. I don't remember what type of enemies we have along the way. They are going to be stronger than what we've had before. Boulders and wasps. Part of the reason this is walled off is that the enemies are stronger on the sides. You have to level up a bit to get there. And of course, we've dealt with these wasps and kobolds before. But I have a feeling that when we get a little further, it'll be quite different. Let's use a Flame Infusion. Ook Wasp Hunting Grounds. Travel west to reach the city of Berglum. So this would be a lot of ook wasps here. Who would hunt these things? I'm trying to figure out what you could possibly gain from hunting ook wasps. These aren't so bad. Previously we were getting +3 to life when we leveled up. I think now we should be getting at least +5, if not a little bit more than that. I find this song relaxing. I like how it's kind of in time to the walking. I guess I was wrong about the enemies being tougher. This isn't really anything we haven't seen. I bet if we go off path, the enemies will definitely be tougher. By that I mean a screen over or something. as enemies respawn by screaming. Alright, we are now at Berglum. I don't think there's any enemies here. The tunnel entrance should be north through the trees up here. We'll go ahead and open that up. We managed to clear the entrance of the cave. That's the first one where we had to see that to open it. Okay, we have Berglum open now. I thought there was a sign. There it is. Welcome to Berglum. Hi, stranger. Welcome to the trade city of Berglum. Don't make trouble and you won't be troubled. No problem. Can you tell me where your commander is, please? You can find him at the soldiers' barracks in the eastern part of town. Thanks. So we're finally at another town, more civilization, with a bunch more people to talk to. Sigil the Storyteller told me some incredible stories. Did you hear about the magicians who protected our lands? Or the path to the Northern Territories? Tell me about those Northern Territories. We are completely isolated from the Northern Territories because of the fall of High Garendall. The earthquake destroyed the city and the roads. They are not even able to come here by boat because of the reefs all around our kingdom. Sometimes we see very small boats come from Yushin, but it is rare. What about those magicians? They used to be very powerful. They were the servants of the people defending and protecting it. No one knows exactly what happened, but they all disappeared in the time of High Garendall. Then, without their spells, creatures have been able to invade our lands. It's a funny little lady there. Did you see the druid Emilius and his magnificent tree? The learning tree is the oldest tree I've ever seen. I heard historians saying that each part of the world has its own learning tree, but each of them is very different from one another. One day, I'd like to see another one. I would too, but we never got a sequel. Welcome to Dungan's Tavern. Here you can drink, eat, and even sleep. Stay for a while, my friend. By the way, it's 60 gold pieces for the night. No, but thanks for the offer. You notice how prices have been going up. Berglum is more expensive than all the others. It's also a big trade city because it has boats. Speaking of the boats, the next screen over will have a shipyard that plays the only other video. Like the video that played at the Learning Tree, there's a boat video. And I'll just add it later. I have heard that magicians still exist and that they are gathering in a huge tower over the Avonry mountain range. Let's see, magic is on the decline. It might be true, I recently encountered a few magic users myself. Really? Did they say anything about the great gathering at the tower? I wonder what we should say about this. I don't think it leads to anything. You fought magic users? I can't believe you are still alive. Were they rogue mages, wild mages, or rogue archmages? We actually do come across rogue mages in a little bit that we haven't just yet, but I think they were rogue mages. I have a feeling this cycle will just repeat. No, it's not true. Magic is on the decline. How can you say that? Magic does exist, and one day I'll be a great magic user. You'll see. Better start studying now if you want to be a magic user before magic is instinct. Kind of a funny conversation. The expansion actually lets you play as a wizard, and you'd be using magic at this point, basically, when you encounter that kid. But I don't think they changed the dialogue to reflect that. It's been a year since we saw a boat from Yushin. I'm a jeweler, and I hope they come soon, because I need to sell many jewels that I've made and buy some precious stones. They also bring very good weapons and armor from the north. That's Yushin or Yutian. Apparently it's one of the nearby islands. I need to look that up in the learning tree probably too. Hello, youngster. You are talking to Merrigan, chief of the Berglum legions. What do you want? I need your help to protect the kingdom. Who are you to ask me for help? I don't have time to help a stranger. Berglum is a big commercial city, and I must protect it. I'm speaking on behalf of Decimus. What? Decimus the general is alive? That can't be true. It is. An invasion! We are used to dealing with goblins and other creatures, but sea giants, if Decimus needs us, we will not betray him. I'm going to send a couple of my men right now to Fantrima. They will build scout towers and will stay to protect the barricades. What if the giants come by sea to attack Berglum? Don't worry about that. I will stay here with some of my men to prevent an attack of Berglum, but I doubt they will come here by sea. There are too many reefs around here, and only an old sea dog like Juliar could sail his boat through them. I see. Although, if the keep fell to sea giants, I doubt he and a few of his men could hold the sea giants off. But anyways, the area down where they were building barricades, it started as just walls, and then Decimus came and added tents, and I think those guys go and now build towers. So it kind of builds up as you get more and more of the quest done. Just think about all the work that went into building these maps and these tile sets. It's a very huge world that they've made here. I definitely like it a lot. Another kid here. Can you teach me how to fight, sir? I'd really like to be able to defend the city in case the evil giants ever come here. Apparently he's already heard about the impending attack of the kingdom. I would think everybody would by now, considering how long it's been. And we're just kind of lollygagging around in the northern part of the kingdom while the queen is presumably dead. Welcome in our nice little town, foreigner. My name is Baptiste, and I am the mayor. I hope you'll have a good time around here, my lord, and if you want any advice, go to Dungan's Tavern. He'll be glad to refresh you or offer you a nice room for the night. Oh, that's Vortex graphic. There's no more boars around the city. I'd like to chase them, but it's dangerous to go far from town. Last time I went, I fell in front of two huge thivuks. They would have probably killed me, but by chance, my cousin Galbraith was with me. He battled the two monsters with such ferocity that they barely escaped with their lives. This Galbraith sounds like a nice fellow. Tell me more about him. He lives in Fantrima. He's as strong as a bear. He also likes boar, so sometimes he gives me a hand when I hunt. As I recall, that's our blacksmith. So this is apparently his cousin up here in Berglum. I don't believe he ever mentioned him. Look out if you explore the west coast. Trolls have been seen around there. And trolls are those ugly green things that we saw earlier near the swamp when I cut across the screen. We'll come across more soon. They are pretty tough. Here is where a video would play for the boat, if I had the boat video in. Hello, stranger. Are you an adventurer? You sure look like one. I used to travel and seek adventure during my younger days. Once I ventured in a remote part of the kingdom that the scholars called Worm Valley. There I saw a little flying creature with dark wings. It was followed by powerful creatures. They tried to catch me, but I ran and finally escaped. That was frightening. Do you have any idea what those creatures were? Of course, we haven't been to Worm Valley yet, but we will be. I am no scholar, but I think the little one was a fairy. As for the only other ones chasing it, who knows what they were? Never again in my whole life have I seen such ugly beasts. Be careful, adventurer, if you travel in that region. Thanks, and don't worry, I'll be careful. So he's telling us that there's a fairy he saw in Worm Valley. Oh, those reefs. If it was not for those reefs, I'd be able to go home now. I hate them. Why are there so many reefs around this part of the continent? Excuse me, sir, but what are you talking about? I am talking about the belt of reefs surrounding this part of the continent, you kid. I came here 20 years ago, and my boat has been stuck in the reefs ever since. I have tried to find a way to get out, but I have been unsuccessful. Do you know anything about reefs? No, I'm sorry, I don't know a thing about reefs. I hope you'll find someone to help you out. The only thing I know is horse riding. May they all go away. Blasting the reefs is a good idea. Thank you, kid. I'll be on my way back to Utian. Thank you, thank you. Apparently he's all happy at our suggestion that he blow them up somehow. Hello, handsome. Would you give me a hand? I have some heavy furniture to move, and my husband is off for the next few days catching ookwasps with some friends. So, of course, the ookwasps' hunting grounds are used, I guess. What kind of furniture? Well, I have a table, 2 wooden chests, and last but not least, a big elven bed. That's no problem. I'm used to heavy lifting. So this is kind of a little secret thing. You help remove the bed, and then you end up staying while her husband's away. But notice it does regenerate us. So it's a thing you can do one time to get kind of a free regeneration. Hello, handsome. Thank you again for helping me move my furniture. But I guess her husband returns or something, because that is just a single time you can use that to regenerate. Have you ever been to the forgotten High Garendall? I used to have some friends that were good fighters, but none of them were brave enough to wander in these parts. Apparently, only the most courageous fighters can go there. Which is true, that is an area that is filled with very tough creatures. You notice that Berglum is packed with a lot more people. It's a much bigger city. Here's potions. Welcome, my lord. What may I offer you? May I see what you have in stock? And he actually sells potions at the same rate as Fantrima, which is very good, because that gives us a nice stop to get some more potions. We have 273. I think I'll buy a few more of these. Just to have a few healing things on hand. But I want to see the blacksmith too, because that's where we get a lot more of the options for armor and things. I think in this part I'll end up just exploring Berglum, since it's such a big city. But that has gotten us a quest done. You'll notice the Berglum garrison is now done. They are sent down there, they'll have built their towers. The Durnif garrison is next, and then we have the Thievery Path, and then the Order. My name is Siegel. I'm a storyteller who travels the world to find incredible stories. Do you want to hear some of my best stories? Go ahead, I have some time. Ever heard the story of Nera Owlwood? Nera was one of the few heroes of the Stone War. After the war, she retired to her estates. 5 years later, a band of rock imps seeking retribution for events of the war attacked Nera's estate. I would add the note that rock imps, these are the kind of orange creatures that we saw in the cave where Decimus was. Unable to defend against the larger forces of the imp, Nera begged for the help of the knights, who she fought with during the Stone War. The knights denied her request, claiming that doing so would violate the treaty signed with the rock imp at the end of the war. At sunrise the next day, the imp forces were defeated, but Nera had lost more than she had saved. Her 2 children were killed during the fight. At that point, rage engulfed Nera's being. The story says her physical appearance changed in an instant. She then killed all the remaining soldiers, who just hours ago were fighting alongside her. Then she disappeared. As I say, this is just a story, but not long ago, a cleric came to town. He believed enough in the story that he claimed that he knew where Nera's hideout was. Not many townsfolk thought there was any truth in his claim. Nonetheless, he left the next morning, headed for the Ghost Swamp. So something else is set up with that, and indeed there is a chapel in Ghost Swamp where we will be returning and fighting Nera. Let's see if he has a different story to tell us. Here is one of my favorites. A long time ago, an entity called the Spirit of Nature was acting as a keeper of the order and balance of nature in the kingdom. One day, the spirit was challenged and defeated by a powerful archmage. The archmage forced the spirit to fall into a deep slumber never to be broken. But it is said that in the presence of magical herbs, the spirit would wake. But as you might imagine, no one ever found the place where the spirit is sleeping. Remember by the learning tree there was someone who said the spirit of nature would be happy if you give it something? These two tie together, and we will be doing that at a later quest as well. Okay, we heard about Nira. Recently, rumors have started to circulate concerning a general of the Garendall army named Decimus. It is said that he was sent on a mission to the Ghost Swamp, but never returned. What is more disturbing is the fact that he was supposedly changed into a Death Knight, or into a Dead Knight, by some unknown forces inhabiting the swamp. Perhaps tied to Nira somehow. Of course, we already know that he was, and we freed him. He's really fond of this Nira story. I think that may be the only stories he has, are these three. That looks like it's just those three. Did we get everybody up here? There's so many people in this town. Oh, here's a windmill graphic. I don't know why they didn't animate water, considering they can animate things. I'm afraid of the evil giants. I hope they will never reach our city. Apparently all the children know, and they're living in fear. No one is worried about the poor queen, though. So here is a boat. In fact, it's the only boat that can apparently get around here. Hello, lad. Juliar is the name. I am the captain of this magnificent vessel. My men and I are setting sail once a week or so to provide fresh fish for the town. It must be a great job. Of course it is. I really like the smell of fish and the fresh ocean wind blowing on my face. I couldn't live without it. Must be nice. Have a nice day. That boat will play part in a later quest. I feel like I give a lot of spoilers in my commentary, but really, for a game as old as this is, where everything is out there, I guess there's not really such a thing as a spoiler. Welcome to Sarah's Goods, Wanderer. Would you like to buy some fresh fish rations for the road? Let me see what you have. So this is an interesting thing about Berglum. Remember that in Fantrima, we have just the one place where you can buy healing potions and food? They both act the same way. In Berglum, it's split. Same price for everything, yeah. Everything's the same price. But the food is sold by this lady and the potions are sold by the other. Really, by the time you get to Berglum, though, none of the foods are good enough. You have to have potions to keep yourself restored. It's almost like you could have come to Berglum earlier, but the way the quests work, you really can't. Siegel the Storyteller told me about some incredible stories. Did you hear about the magicians who protected our lands, or the paths to the Northern Territories? I feel like this is the same as the lady before. Yeah, the earthquake. Okay, so that guy says exactly the same stuff that the lady from earlier said. Don't listen to old Heldon, he's a bit senseless sometimes. Did you see his hat? He made it himself. He says that it's protecting him from people attacking his mind. I think he is really crazy. Let's see if we can find this Heldon. Sounds like a hermit-type character. I am waiting for my brother to return. He left 2 years ago to go beyond the Avonry Mountains. It is said that you can find some of the best weapons in the world in that region. Those reefs make me sick. We cannot go very far from the coast and explore the sea. Everybody here is upset about the reefs. Be careful when you shop at the blacksmith. He is selling his weapons at exorbitant prices. It's just friendly advice. Thanks a lot. It is true, the prices for weapons are higher here. Heldon is my name. It's not my fault. But Mother's. Did you see a dark fairy? Somewhere. I need one for experience. Want to help me? Where can I find a fairy, and what does it look like? A dark fairy. Don't forget that. Where? I don't know. It's like a little... with dark wings. Want my hat? Protects the mind. Oh yes, very useful. Trap it in this cage and bring it to me. He gives you a strange-looking cage. Okay. Ark, great! Here's a small cage to trap that fairy in. You look like a good warrior, but don't kill it. Trap it in the cage. Rumble. Okay. So, we just talked to someone who told us that he saw a fairy in Worm Valley. You can see how all these conversations and quests tie together pretty quickly. So we know in Worm Valley there's a fairy, and this guy will give us a hat that protects us against mind magic if we find it, that fairy. Where's the fairy? The dark fairy. Bring it to me. There's nothing more he'll say. Let's find that blacksmith. I think that High Garendall is just a myth. I mean, if there was really a High Garendall, someone would have found it a long time ago. And don't tell me it's because it is guarded by dark spirits. Those rumors are even more ludicrous than High Garendall ones. As you can imagine, she'll be wrong and we'll go there. Okay, the blacksmith must right be in the center here. My respects, stranger. What do you need? Let me see what you have in stock. Now here is where you get the nice weapons and armor. But it comes at a price. Look at the cost of these things. Gilbrath and Fantrima is a lot more my speed at this point in the game. Once you have the money for these types of things, though, that's not bad. And you notice, too, these ones are stat boosters. So, like, of the bear means that you get a +3 to your strength. The Elven full plate mail is probably the best armor, if I recall. I know this one is good for protection against the undead. But I need more money before I get too much of this stuff. Necklace of stone. All nice things, but expensive, that is certainly true. Let's talk to this lady. Did you see my husband on the roads? He is tall with brown hair. I don't think we did see anybody on the roads. Let me think. No one fits that description. Yes, probably in Fantrima, but I'm not sure. Oh, thank you. You are a nice man. His name is Tanny. I'll do my best. I don't think this is one where you actually encounter that character. Maybe you do, or maybe it was just something they didn't really finish. I'm not sure. That's kind of all of Berglum. We have warned the garrison, and we picked up a new quest to catch a dark fairy over in Worm Valley. I think I'll finish this part here, actually. Let me check our pollution status. Yeah, it's okay. What would be next? Next is probably going to Durnath, because we're not ready yet to take on worms. And I want to talk to the Durnath people first. I guess it would make sense. Did we talk to this lady? Oh yeah, we did. I guess it would make sense to go back to Fantrima, because Gurnath is closer to Fantrima. If you check the kingdom map, we're up here right now, and that's where we're going to want to be. Of course, I'm using my knowledge of the game to find that, since it's not labeled on the map. But that is what we'll do. So I'm going to go back to Fantrima, and what does this guy say? Merrigan told me about you. I am to stay and protect the city. Too bad. I would have liked to be part of the fight. Good luck. Yeah, let's go down there and look at their towers, and then we'll go to Gurnath and continue to warn the garrisons. At this point, we have some freedom in what order we want to do quests. And we got the Squire title, which means that we're going to level up better. So I'm not in a huge rush. There are some stamina boosting things I want to do. But we'll get to them before too long. There is a lot you can do in this world. In terms of hours of gameplay, it's more than like Farazel's Wand or something. Just because how expansive this world is. So let's go look at the barricades. Let's see if anybody down there says they're from Berglum. There you go, see it's building up each time. So now they have a tower. Well, I guess no one is going to tell us that that we can't interact with these guys. But we assume those are the ones from Berglum. Does Decimus say anything? I'm afraid that even with the help of Berglum, we are still not enough to face the invasion. Please go warn the garrisons encamped at Gurnath and tell them that the general lives. Talked to him before. Okay, so he knows that the Gurnath people, or Berglum people are here, but he wants the Gurnath people too. They're never content with the work that we do. Alright, I'm going to stop there, and we will pick up and go northeast to Berglum next.